Tesla today shocked investors, but not in a good way. I am shocked too, and not because of lower than expected deliveries, but because I was expecting with such low deliveries, Tesla to drop 10 to 15%, and we are not seeing that, at least not when I'm recording this. Tesla delivered 386,700 vehicles in Q1. Wall Street was expecting 431,000 roughly, but Troy was quite a bit lower. Troy was at 409,000 vehicles, and many people got mad at me for reporting this. And I said that I would be happy with any number over 410,000, but I report what I see, not what I wish I saw or what you guys wish you saw. I just report what's actually happening and what I think is the most likely thing to happen. And what I see happening is amazing progress by the Tesla FSD team. This clip from yesterday absolutely blew my mind. It shows that FSD is certainly possible. I don't think it's just harder than the checks left turn. I think it is. With this delivery number, I would have expected Tesla stock to drop at least 10%, maybe up to 15%, but it's not dropping that much. And I think that's largely because of FSD. I, of course, remain in Tesla stock. I am buying more Tesla stock. Am I thrilled with these deliveries? No. Am I thrilled about the buying opportunity? Still, absolutely. Because Tesla's next generation vehicle is still coming. FSD is likely coming sooner than I expected. Keep in mind, my timeline is before the end of 2030. A shout out goes to Troy. Again, the most accurate estimate out there. Even though he had the lowest delivery estimate, it was 5.7% too high, his largest error yet. Another major reason why I am excited about Tesla stock in the long term is the energy business, and Tesla just reported record Megapack installations for the first time on a delivered report, which means that business is actually becoming significant enough for Tesla to start reporting on it. And later on, I expect that business to get huge, especially if Tesla is able to successfully figure out the dry part of the manufacturing process of the batteries. Let's do a little bit of reflection. I'm upset I missed my forecast by this much, but happy that Troy was closest. Troy has been eating a lot of poop all quarter for his realistically bearish forecast. I have two for 18 months since I started criticizing Tesla's brain-dead pricing strategy and Elon's antics. But also remember that the whole EV industry right now is a bit slow. For example, BYD reported a quarter-over-quarter decline in deliveries, and it was a significant decline, 300,000 EVs delivered only, which put Tesla to the #1 position. Troy gave his reasons for low deliveries. #1, Model 3 production at Fremont was low due to Model 3 Highland design refresh. Right now, the production is back to, I think, about 60% of the previous capacity at least, and it's still going to be a bit of an issue in Q2, but no longer in Q3 probably. #2, limited demand for the Model Y in the US resulted in high inventory levels. So many people expected the Model Y refresh to happen sooner in the US, but I don't think it's happening this year. It's happening next year, but in China it's happening this year is my assumption. #3, initial data suggests deliveries in Europe in Q1 dropped by 9% compared to Q1 last year. Gary says this will renew the narrative about Tesla's 60x 2024 PE with negative volume, revenue, and EPS growth. He's not talking anything about 2030 earnings and what Tesla will look like later when FSD is solved. Gary also expects Q2 volumes to fall year over year, so he expects less than 466,000 deliveries next quarter. Someone says this is one reason for the huge push to get V12 out to everyone. They needed to recognize FSD revenue to plug holes in Q1's financials, but this also puts extra pressure on FSD and the FSD team to work even harder. So there is a bit of a silver lining there. And perhaps this is one reason why Elon Musk has been paying more attention to Tesla. If you look at his X feed, he's tweeting, posting more about Tesla lately. Gary is doing a bit of a victory lap here. Crazy that Troy and I caught so much grief from Tesla bulls for being negative going into the print, but it turns out we weren't negative enough. Maybe it will show Tesla management they need a real sales strategy and can't rely on cutting price alone. Here's an explanation from Tesla directly about what happened. Decline in volumes was partially due to the early phase of the production ramp of the updated Model 3 at our Fremont factory and factory shutdowns resulting from shipping diversions caused by the Red Sea conflict and an arson attack at Gigafactory Berlin. However, keep in mind that Tesla said partially, not mostly. And I haven't seen electric so negative about Tesla in the last 12 months. The Q1 2024 deliveries, disastrous results. This is next level bad. Even the most pessimistic analysts didn't come close to predicting this level of deliveries. All these excuses that Tesla is listing are good excuses, but they are good for the lower production levels. They don't explain the 50,000 vehicle discrepancy between production and deliveries. That's a demand problem as clear as it gets. I think this should be a wake-up call. This is Tesla going back about 2 years in terms of demand. Now, if one of my family members asked me, should I buy Tesla stock right now if I have a lump sum and I want to minimize my chances of the stock going down, and I don't mind missing out on a big run if it does happen, I just want to minimize my chances of losing money, I would say look at this moving average and wait for the stock to drop 30% below that, which right now would be $145. This has not happened yet, but it has happened many times before, and it has never been a bad idea, even in a relatively medium to short term, to execute that strategy. It doesn't mean that the stock wouldn't have gone lower. Actually, it would have, especially in this case, but even in the next few months, the stock recovered and then it shot up quite a bit higher. In the meantime, Matt Smith had his first drive on FSD v12.3.3 this morning in rainy conditions. My main issues with the prior version were slow driving in residential areas and overcautious creeping, which caused me to miss a lot of left turn opportunities. These issues did not appear to be better on v12.3.3, and I also had more frequent occurrences of phantom braking. Overall, this felt like a small step backwards for me, but still a massive step forward from v11. James is expressing himself further this morning. Americans basically told Elon to GFY this quarter. I think Elon does not have any farmland, so I'm not sure if he can actually do that. Look who's back. For over a year, I've been warning about this potential reality. Now it's here. It's time for shareholders to assess a blame where due. The Tesla board of directors should be replaced immediately with independent directors as required by law. BYD saw a 43% decline in their EV sales in Q1 versus Q4. Should their board also be replaced? Sawyer's take is that this was a brutal quarter, but Tesla will move past it. This whole year could be brutal, but looking at Tesla's history, Tesla goes through multi-year brutal periods, and this period is no different. It's not a stock that just goes up every year by the same amount. No, it's not like that. During these consolidation phases, if anything, the trend is almost down here, and definitely certainly overall down over here before a big jump.